Oh. It's me again. I'm out droning on and droning, so I've brought a little cheeky mini, pop it over there. I'll not give you too much chat, but I'm in northeast of England here. I'm in a nice sunny place called Morpeth. And apologies straight off, I'm using an external mic, but there is a lot of wind because we're up on Ha Hill. And I'll explain that when I get the drone up. So, what I need to do is, I need to do a hand takeoff. So, what I need to do is, I need to bounce that on there like an idiot, and then bounce on there like an idiot, and then say to it, right, get those rotors going. So they're going, and then I need to do a hand takeoff carefully. So I need to go up with that one, and it's very windy, so I'm going to come way back. There, so, I mean, that's already moving. I'll show you. Look at the buffeting on that. I'm not touching the controls, look at that. Got a lot of wind, so bear with me. Right, let's get this up. Boosh! And I'll gimbal down so you can see what the hell I'm looking at. So I'm recording in 60 frames a second, 40k. I'll gimbal all the way down so you can see where I am. There's me on the hill. I'm on that hill there. And this is Hart Hill. So, I'll give you a little talk. So, there used to be a castle here in about 1095, but it's been destroyed in something like the 1100 or 1200s, which is quite interesting. And then, of course, as usually happens, there's not a lot left. And if you excuse me, I've just been stung by a big nettle, but never mind. So what I'll do is I'm going to change the gimbal. So we'll cross over to the other view, and then I'll show you what it is that I'm actually interested in. Because as I rotate around there, you can see the park, which is interesting. But I'm not going to fly over that in case there's crowds of people. Just give you a little bit of a lay for the land. And then there is the main road, which is going through Morpeth. Now, if I zoom in on this bit, that's the main bridge. It's quite famous in the area anyway. So there you go. So that's where all the cars go over, and then there is the river, which heads out to the sea on the right hand side, and on the left hand side that goes west, and eventually obviously back to its source of that water. So zoom out. I'll give you a slow rotation here, and you can see what you might think, well, is that the castle there? Just at the start of the park. So I'm going to get closer to that, but in order to do that, I want to be over those trees. So I'm going to go over there. I want to make sure I'm not over people's heads. That's the important thing. So if I fly over there, and then I'm over a tree. So if anything happens, it's not a big deal, is it? Now bear in mind, look at that height already, 76. So I'm not going to go very high. Bear in mind, I took off from a hill. So it's no good saying, well, I took off from a hill, therefore if I add the legal limit on that, that's not how it works. It's line of sight and to the floor. So I'm not going to go much higher. So you might think, well, that's a castle. I think the old police station used to be in there years ago. I remember my dad telling me, I think. I don't know about now. I'm pretty sure when I went past, they had like something about antiques or whatever. So I'm not particularly interested in that. So we'll come out of there, and then looking up the bank. I mean, there's a load of traffic there, but looking up the bank, let me just take my sunglasses off a second, because I can see the drone perfectly from here. That's fine. Okay, so right, we're out the sun a little bit. Right, so if I rotate around, the original castle, or what's left, I should say, of the original castle is here. Now, I'm told, now how reliable it is, I don't know, but I'm told that that is just the gatehouse. So I'm guessing that that gatehouse is what would have connected to this hill, because if the original castle was here and it was smashed, so about 1095-ish, that's when the original castle was there, and then I presume back then it was just, you know, it was a moat around it to stop people getting in, and probably a wooden structure. And then later through the medieval times, that would have been connected to it, and it would have been a stone building. I don't know. We'll go over and have a look, and I'll get as close as I can. Is there anyone down there? I don't believe that. You know, bear in mind, I'm on a small screen, but I'm going to do my best to make sure. There's two people on that grass on the left-hand side that I can see. So let me just work out where they are. See them there? There's two people wandering around, a lady and a man by the looks of it, and then that's all I can see. But we'll keep it safe. So I'm over the trees here when I get close to this castle. You can see there's a little path there on the right that then allows you to get up from the park. So if you come out the park, and you can come up to the top of this Hart Hill. I'll put some bits of information on the screen if you're interested, because I love a little bit of history. And there, that's what's left. So a gatehouse and the entrance. Isn't that sad? That's all we've got left. But brutal times, and there was lots of fights. So it's not just the fact that it's in disrepair, it's idiots smashing them down. I mean, up on the border there with Scotland, there's a load of castles and examples like that. So we'll give it a little rotation on this one. In fact, what I'll do is I'll come down just a touch. So I'll come down to 60-ish, and then I'll do a rotation around it. So I want to, if you look at the pilot's view, I will stick a little box around it. So I'm interested in that bit there. So I'll let go on the green box, and it'll say, right, I'm going to sort that out for you. Okay, well, you do that. So if we move slightly to the right, should change to a GPS. Yes, right. Okay, so I want that as a point of interest. So now it's going to say, right, which direction would you like to go? Well, let's go to the right. We're over the, now you can see two people down there, you see them? But we are well away from them. So I'm going to go, I mean, that says, right, slow. I'll try it on slow first, we'll rotate around. And like I say, I'll stick up some little bits and pieces about the history of that, because it's all very interesting to see. Now maybe I'll show you the river, but obviously because this is quite a packed, like a medieval town really, it's quite packed history-wise. The old streets are very narrow and you get lots of groups of people, so I need to avoid that. Isn't that a shame? That's all we have left. I mean, we're very lucky in the northeast, of course. We'll have massive castles, Bamborough Castle, Alnwick Castle, huge structures. I think the Bamborough one was just used in the latest crap Indiana Jones film, which was useless. That was awful. 2 out of 10. And I'm not just saying that because he's too old to be running around and punching people in the face, but that other character, the lady one, oh, insufferable. Comments down below if you enjoyed it and all that good stuff. Right, so let's speed this up a little bit. And there's no, what I would term, crowds of people around there, but what I will do is I will come away from it slightly to get a better shot. So I'm stick down, but I'm still using that same point of interest. Yeah, that's a much better view, isn't it? You can take the lay of the land and see what it's like. So we'll let that rotate a bit. That's a better view, isn't it? But I think Morpeth's a very nice place to visit. Now, hang on, there's a bee attacking me. Get off. Right. Sorry about that. And you might hear in the background a high-pitched engine noise. That's the trains, I think, or is it a plane taking off? I need to be very careful. Yeah, no, it's a train. So excellent view there. Make sure I'm not going to hit anything here. You can see the H on the pilot's view, that's where I am. But it's a great place to drone this because you're in such a high prominence, you can see in every direction. There are no, as long as you're up a sensible height obviously, there are no obstructions of any kind for your drone. So we'll come out of that. Boom, yeah, I can hear a train, I think. So we'll turn off active track. That's it. And then we'll rotate around a little bit. What else have we got here? So there's the main road that comes down. And it comes down from that region, past the train station. And it comes down here. And then, like I say, I'm sure they had a police station in at one point. And I mean, looking at it, it looks like it's got the, you know, the battlements look at the top, but that looks like faux. I don't know if that's real. Although you could argue, well, look at the size of the windows. Not the ones at the bottom, but the ones at the top are certainly like slits. And that's obviously sometimes a good, not always, you know, it doesn't mean it's real, but that can sometimes be an indicator that was used or intended for combat. So people can't return fire, you know, when you're trying to get them with an arrow. But you'd find a lot of buildings where they just copy that because it looks nice. And in the distance, you can see the river. So there's the river going off. Actually, I'll see what else you can see. So if I zoom in a little bit, there's the river going off and then it winds around. But eventually, at some point, it hits and there is a rail viaduct. Am I able to see that from here? Maybe not. It may be just too far out of reach. Yeah, probably not. It's too far away, I think. Yeah. So we'll come back in and then I'm going to head towards the river, but in the other direction. So here we go. Right, you can see here. Obviously, I mean, I showed you before, the bridge is over here. So left and right, you've got the river. So the river goes to the left. Then eventually it heads off up there towards, and I'll move over that direction because we're just going over some trees. It's not a big deal. We're not perilously putting lives at risk or anything like that. And I'm facing the drone. I know exactly where it is. Right, we're only 70 metres away. I'm purposefully avoiding the park on the right there in case there's groups of people, especially with the sun out. But the river continues on and eventually it hits Mitford. And Mitford has, well, the remains of a castle anyway. But again, I don't think you would see that from here. And because this is summer, you can't see a lot. What on earth is going on there? Oh, that's a pool. Right, so because that's a pool, I'm not going to zoom in case there's someone stood there in a state of undress. But the river does go up there. But in this direction, yeah, it winds off, but Mitford is way in the distance. And I'm on a tiny screen here, so it's very difficult for me to tell you. We'll see what else we can see in Morpeth. So you've got the main street. Now I think, what is that there? Is that the main street? No. I think the main street is one up, isn't it? So if I zoom in, that's the main street there. Well, you can't actually see, it's obscured by the buildings, but then those cars moving off up towards the top of the screen are heading kind of northish, and they're going to the north of the town. And there's a lovely, right up there, there's a lovely church there. It's like hidden in a secluded sort of cloister. It's beautiful. And then if you continue up, you eventually have, I think there's some houses and, what used to be the hospital is up there, or was up there. And like I say, I can't see a great deal. And I'm zoomed in, so I mean, I'll show you. Look, that's how far out we are. Now, I haven't had any, there's a lot of wind, you might hear it on the mic, but I haven't had any warnings yet, so we're doing all right. So let's go over here. Now, what's going on down here? I think that's just people playing in the park. And then that's a road. And this was just meant to be a quick one. I just wanted to get up and have a look at, well, the remains of that castle, because you might sometimes hear people say Morpeth Castle. Well, what they're referring to is the remains. So there's me on the left in the middle of the screen. That's the remains of the, well, the old sort of battlements, and then you've just got the gatehouse. So what a shame, that's all we've got left, isn't it? And then that looks like just houses. Yeah, that's just residential. I mean, we'll pop over and have a quick look. We're only 200-ish metres away. So sort of terraced looking houses there. Nothing particularly interesting. Yeah, some nice gardens there. They've done a good job cutting the grass. Because I notice a lot of people are getting that fake plastic grass now. Because that's the one thing we need more of. Big piles of plastic. It's the one thing we've probably got more than we can deal with, I would suggest. Right, so I'm facing the drone here, but I'm going to come back and come over the castle. And again, if you look at my height, I'm not pushing the height, and the reason I'm not doing that is due to the fact that I took off from a hill, so I don't want to then go, right, I'm going to do another 120 metres on top of that. You cannot really do that. And if you hear anyone in the distance, it's just people talking to their dogs and things. But I might say hello to them. So there's not a lot left, if that's just the gatehouse. I mean, it looks pretty thick, but there's not a lot there. And then I don't know what that building on the right is. That looks like, that's obviously a modern addition on the right. Has to be. And then apparently there's a bit of the old wall left. Now I think I've spotted it. If I come over here where it's safe and then gimbal right down, I think that there, if I zoom in, I think to my eyes anyway, that looks like possibly what's left of the original wall. If I come back, change the zoom and come back, see what I can. I don't want to drop my height too much because there's some massive trees over there. Now what's that there? Is that a wall or a heart? Just remember again, I'm on a tiny screen, so it's a lot harder for me. Right. No, there's not a lot left there, is there? Right, what I'll do is I'll bring this back because there's people here and I don't want to annoy them because they're just as entitled to be here as everyone else. But sometimes when you've got a drone, people automatically assume, you're filming me and get lost in all this. So, well, fair enough. Always be aware of other people. So we'll come along these trees. I'll show you some of the park, but obviously not that bit where people are trying to take a dip. I don't know what's in there. It looks very squatchy, doesn't it? Is that a path there? What's that down there? I think that's a path of some description. See, it's difficult in the summer. You get so much coverage from the leaves on the growth cycle. It's just, you can't say anything. So what have we got here? We've got, I think there's a skate park, is there not? So there's something going on there. And then that must be the skate park there. I don't want to get too close because, again, if there's groups of people, I need to avoid that. Let's see what we can see though. is there anyone doing decent tricks, or they're just those people on those awful cheating skateboards where they've got a handle on with handlebars? I think they're the cheap ones, aren't they? Yeah, they're for people who can't manage a real one, yeah. Not so keen on those ones. I used to do a lot of skateboarding. I've got all the injuries to prove it, and there's someone on a bike. Anyway, let's zoom out. So I just wanted to give you a quick view of this. I'll give you a quick 360. And again, I'll keep the height sensible. So there's the majority of Morpeth there. There's the road in. We're looking east, and you can see a little bit of the river. Change the gimbal a bit there for you, that's a bit more pleasant. And we'll rotate all the way around, and Ha Hill at the bottom, or Ha Hill, however you want to pronounce it. And then you can see the open stretch and entrance to what's left of Morpeth Castle. Not a lot, not a lot. So if you're coming visiting and expecting to see, you know, knights and dragons, you're not going to see that, unfortunately. And you've got this huge green area which has just been left, and then I presume there's people down there sunbathing and whatever, so I'll speed up past there and give them their privacy. And then that is a lot of the parking for the main sections of Morpeth there, because it's a pain in the arse trying to park in Morpeth. It's not easy. It's really, really difficult. So we're doing okay. We've got 35% on the battery there, so but I will bring that back, so bear with me. But as you can see, I'm not going to land just yet, and I'll show you why there. So you can see I'm there, but then obviously there's a lovely viewpoint just to the left, and so people want to have a look, so I don't want to spoil it for them. But that's a fantastic view, look at that. And I'll shut up whilst I just zoom out a little bit. There you go. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll bring this in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it from the map. So I've expanded the map there. So as you can see, that red line from the triangle, which is the drone there, is the expected flight path. And you can see actually from the map, I haven't got it on satellite view, but you can see from the map that we're on the green, which is like trees and things like that. So you know that you're on a sensible bit. There's not going to be any crowds of people over there. And my camera has just stopped for reasons unknown, so I'm going to restart it. Right, we've restarted it. I don't know why. I'll just sync that up again. So, right, synced with the sound again, because this is the thing. I'm recording from a camera, then I'm screen recording, then I'm recording on the drone, and then I'm recording the audio separately as well. It becomes quite complicated. So we'll come back again, and then you can see we are hitting the hill now. So if I go back to the proper view, as I term it, so you can see we've still got 5-ish minutes left on the battery, 29%. Certainly not in a dangerous position yet. And you can see a much better view. Beautiful down here. The park there actually is very nice. Now I've been up for about 15 minutes, so I'm going to bring this back and do a hand landing, and then I'm going to do a runner because I'm down for the toilet. But you never thought you'd watch a video about toilets. Right, so we'll bring this down a little. And I'll do it slowly because I don't annoy anyone with funny noises. So we'll come down, and I'm going to approach from this direction, because there's nobody there, and then gimbal change, and then down a bit more, and then bring it in a little bit carefully. Well, I can see the drone perfectly there in front of me, and I'm going to bring it in and I will hand land it. And actually, do you know what, it's coping pretty well in that wind. Before I took off it was terrible, but I mean, it's, you know, you've got to remember you're just using 4 props to trying to line yourself. It's very difficult for the drone. Right, so let me get my sunglasses on so I can see exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so let's bring this in, and I'll change camera when necessary. Okay, so bringing it in. Now it's hit choppy wind there. I mean, that's terrible. So I'll rotate it around a little, and then back a bit. So you can see it's still having bother. Terrible. So that's really bad. I'm having to take it purposefully away from the camera. So right, so there you go, perfectly landed. So what we'll do is we will stop that and stop that one, and then plot that down and try not to stand in it. Right, so thank you for sort of coming and enjoying this. And I'll show you what the view looks like. I'll rotate this a bit. So if I rotate that a bit, you'll see, so from here, I mean, it is a nice view, but obviously you're not going to see as much as getting a drone up, are you? So there's the castle over there. Without standing on the drone, you'll see that's the back of the hill. and then you have most of Morpeth over there. Now bear in mind I have this on ultra wide setting just to try and get a load in for you. It makes it easier for me, and it means that you're not really seeing it in its full light, but we'll do that there. Right, so done. Right, thanks for joining me. I'm going to do a runner because I've been putting off going to the toilet for hours. It's getting very windy and I need to turn that off. So thanks for joining me and goodbye. Toilet time.